From Screen Junkies Studios in the heart of Los Angeles, this is Screen Junkies Movie Fights. Now your host, Andy Signore.
Just kidding. Hello, Screen Junkies, and welcome to Movie Fights. I am not Andy Signore. I am Spencer Gilbert, guest hosting today because Andy, who's on his cell phone right now, demanded that he step into the arena and fight for himself. This is a redux of the epic Dan v. Andy Jurassic World fight, but this time it's about Suicide Squad, and there's a lot of other great stuff on the menu today. We're talking who should direct Man of Steel 2, what's the best Disney live-action movie, and the main event, Suicide Squad, rotten or fresh. If you would like to join the conversation live on Twitter, hit us up, hashtag MovieFightsLive. Let's get right to it and meet our fighters today. On my left, he's the boss. He's the creator of Honest Trailers, regular host of this show, the judge with the most, Andy Signore.
And I got my tweet out, so everyone knows to tune in. That's what I was doing.
Okay,
so I want to make sure people know we're doing this, because this is an important one.
Yes, this is big.
The fight between Dan and I for Jurassic World is one of, I think, the most iconic fights, right, Hal?
You were both at the height of your powers.
And to the left of Andy is the icon himself, the man also at the height of his powers. It's Hal Rudnick.
Spence, what's up? Glad to be here. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
And to get quotes backwards. And then to the left of him, it is the champ himself, Dan the Man Murrell.
Hi. Can I say before we even start, this is great. This is like I'm having flashbacks now. This is like back to when we first started. I don't know if we've had
OG days.
Yeah, it's like the OG days. This
Out
is
in
fun.
Burbank, JT's still in the booth.
Yeah, JT's in the booth. Ken is lurking creepily nearby. It's just like when we first started.
But for some reason, I'm hosting.
Yeah.
So, quick rules reminder, I know you guys don't need it, but maybe for the people watching, all scoring is based on the facts presented, the passion, and the creativity of your arguments, not based on what I like the best, which is a good thing because I haven't seen Suicide Squad.
Ooh.
Which brings us to our first round.
Wow.
So, starting off, I am... Oh, yeah, little cute montage. Fight! And how could I forget the other man on the bench? My compatriot, my brother in arms when it comes to writing honest trailers, Mr. Joe Starr.
Spencer, it's not the first time I'll be forgotten. It's not the last. But I'm happy to be here, brother.
But something that you'll learn about my judging style is the facts don't matter. But thank you for being here anyways.
Perfect.
All right, round one. We are doing a special fight. Now, this is just between Andy and Dan. Hal is recusing himself, but he is going to have a chance to win some points. He's going to vote on who he thinks will win this argument. And the argument is Suicide Squad, rotten or fresh. Have you written down your
He knows.
choice?
I'm going
Yes,
fresh.
Okay.
Dan?
I'm going rotten.
Hal, I will hold on to this
So
until
Hal's done a secret vote?
the end of the round. And you may begin. Andy, start.
Look, this movie definitely has some issues, but I think what this movie also has is a edgy, risky, fun movie from the DCU that you can't underestimate. There is so much fun in this movie that I have things to go through, but I don't want to get bogged down into it. I want to give a quick opening statement. You can't deny the fun, you can't deny the action, you can't deny the characters. Those are things that you can't say is a bad movie when you can hit those things out of the park. Story can sometimes be bad. I can prove that. And I'm gonna prove that, Your Honor. But I'm defending here today that Suicide Squad does not deserve all the hate. Suicide Squad was a fun ride that I saw again twice, sir, and I present to evidence the ticket stub for last night, which I paid for with my own money to see again, which I bet you my competitor has not.
But this money came from Marvel, right? No. That's your opening statement. Dan, let's hear it.
Was the movie the same as the first time you saw it?
It was just as good.
It was the same movie, though.
Yeah, it was the same movie and just as
So
good.
I didn't need to go see it again because I already saw it and I have my points. I mean, I don't know why you're trying to use that against me. I would like to note, this is not fun or failure. You said fun 4 times just in that opening argument. And again, Your Honor, I'm not going to deny.
I like Your Honor.
No, you basically said, in your opening argument, all you said was that it's fun, it has action and characters in it. I cannot deny that it has both action and characters in the movie. And I will also grant, since we're not doing fun or failure, and it's not going to kill me, I hate that fun or failure thing, and I'm never arguing it again, that yes, this movie does have some fun in it. I liked this more, for example, than Batman v Superman. I like this movie more. However, I'm going rotten, and I'll tell you why. It's a mixed bag at best, but I think the mixed bag skews heavily on the negative sides. I'm going to go much more into depth on my points here, but for example, pace and editing. does not work in this movie. It is all over the place. It is scattershot. Just as a story, it is not well told. There are flashbacks inserted that don't belong there. They're put randomly at random points during the movie. It's very herky-jerky. There's a lot of montages that do not belong. The story doesn't flow. The movie doesn't flow. It comes and goes. It stops and starts. And it's really disconcerting to watch because every time you start to get into it, it'll cut to another storyline at a seemingly random point. It's just kind of all over the place. It's scattered. The Enchantress, the villain of the movie, does not work. One of the worst villains in any comic book movie that I've seen. The third act is the same generic Skybeam, Faceless Army, garbage finale that we've seen in Fantastic Four, that started with the Avengers and now every other movie has to do it, that Ultron was doing with the Faceless Army. It's just empty action. The finale did not work at all for me. The tone of the movie shifts wildly. It started off, you know, especially the first time we saw it, this looked like it was going to be a dark movie. Sometimes it is a very dark movie, but then out of the blue, it'll be a fun poppy movie with a big Eminem song or whatever hit of the song that stopped in the year 2000 they decided to do that day. The tone will shift just randomly, seemingly at complete random, from dark to bright to dark to bright to music to it's again, I think this is a story of a movie that was reshot partially that they didn't quite know what to do with. The script doesn't really have a through line. It starts with a flashback, it starts with 2 flashbacks, and then we go to present day, and then it takes us back to a flashback. There are characters that don't track. Captain Boomerang doesn't really track. What exactly they're doing and why they're doing it doesn't exactly track. They don't successfully tell a story from A to B. The characters don't exactly get their arcs. And finally, the Joker. First of all, putting aside, and again, this is opinion-based, putting aside what you think of Jared Leto's performance. I didn't like it. Some people do like it. That's more of a matter of opinion. I think it's hard to deny that the Joker himself is completely superfluous to the movie. He was not incorporated into the movie well. His actions don't really have any consequence on the story. And again, I think it is the case of a flawed product. Maybe at one point he did, but this was a movie that seems to me, it came from a germ of a good idea. It got monkeyed around with and reshot and put into a final piece that I will acknowledge, yes, has some redeeming qualities in it. But if you're asking me fresh or rotten, I think as a movie, as a story, it's not well told. And the negatives for me outweigh what the positives might have been.
All right, I'm hearing a lot from Dan. What do you got,
that was
Andy?
a big list. I mean, and it just sounds so old. Like, you're talking about the story. The story was very clear to me. You're talking about dark to light, dark to light. Yes, there was some odd pacing, but the movie is very clear to follow. Every flashback they give serves a purpose, whether necessary or not. It's not Batman versus Superman where they're going all over the place with these useless things. Everything, whether you agree from an opinion whether it right or worked, I just disagree. It's not... The thing I will give you is the third act. The third act is a mess. There's a generic Skybeam, but my argument is there's so many movies that do that, and that doesn't deserve a rotten when that just happens in a lot of these superhero movies. It's hard to have that final swing. You go through. I'm trying to get because you labeled a lot. I just think you're off on the tone. The tone is the match of the trailer. Whether that's right or wrong, the trailer company was involved in this editing. When I sat in a group full of actual audience members, they loved it. They were reacting positively. They were laughing. They were saying that was a great soundtrack. I think we are being film snobs by going so minutia with our specifics where we're not be able to sit back and say, this was a ballsy move from DC. This was seeing these characters come to life, and I didn't just say fun. The characters are what make this movie go over the edge. And I want to get specific since I didn't do my big list. Deadshot is amazing in this movie. It's finally the Will Smith. Throw out Focus and 7 Pounds and all this dumb nonsense that Will Smith has been drowning us in. This is the Will Smith we love. He's back. Every time he's on screen, he makes stand-up moments. Like the scene where he says, "Am I gonna cut? That's how I cut and run." The crowd went wild. Like, I went wild. I got goosebumps. Like, every time Will Smith did something, it was stronger than I would think. I think, actually, any summer movie, he was probably my favorite summer action hero of the whole summer. He was that strong. Harley Quinn, watching it a second time, so nuanced and so strong in her performance. That scene in the car where she leaves, you see actual despair in there. She's not just playing the caricature that I think a lot of people are accusing her for. She's fantastic. The Joker, I wasn't a huge fan when I left. When I watched it again, I agree there's a little bit of a pacing in there, but I understand why when you get Jared Leto as the Joker, he is doing something more special there. There is nuance to it. There is a manicness to it that I think, sadly, they just didn't have enough time to show, so you didn't really get to see it, but I totally see the germ of a great Joker in there. It's not the Heath Ledger Joker because he just didn't get a showcase. He didn't get to showcase it enough, and there was a lot to tell, but the Joker was fantastic. All these things you're saying, Diablo, fantastic character. They gave him an arc, and a lot of these other people arcs that I thought was really great. It's kind of a weird arc, like, oh, he's a gangbanger, like, is this a good character? But he's a villain, and there you see the conflict in him of murdering his family and then having to lift out and stake. Yes, they rush his third act at the end, but it's an action movie. It's a popcorn movie that I had a blast in, and I think fun is important here because sometimes when you have enough fun, it helps to justify why it's a fresh.
Okay, so you're giving me a lot of good character stuff. Dan, what do you have to refute that?
I don't think it's film snobby to point out that a movie story doesn't work. I don't think it's film snobby.
Work? I want to be more specific because I'll tell you what. I'll help you solve any problems you didn't understand.
It's not that I don't understand. Don't do that. Don't pull that thing where like if you don't understand it. No,
let's go
the
beat by
Joker. Meaningless to the movie. His actions had no consequence whatsoever on the story itself.
It helped to justify Harley's. I'm not going to keep talking about it.
If the Joker had not showed up, what would have been different about anything that Harley Quinn did in that movie?
If you didn't understand who the Joker was, and a lot of mainstream people just made whatever, you can't be the serious comic book.
What would have been different about Harley Quinn, who was the active participant in the story? What would have been different about what Harley Quinn did in the movie if the Joker had not shown up at all?
What would have been different? I mean, you got to see her struggle because
on the effect of the movie.
Because the Joker does have a backstory. Everyone does have some recollection of what the Joker is, and knowing, oh, that's who she's connected with, it did help form her a little bit. It's like, oh, she's crazy. That's why she's crazy, because she's connected to the Joker. Oh, I don't know this Joker yet, but I know the Joker, and the Joker's crazy, and I believe why she was crazy. I believe where she's going. It made her a little bit more interesting, and I wanted to learn more.
See, I thought that she was interesting, and I got the fact that she was crazy when she was hitting her head on the cell,
But she wasn't just crazy. There were moments of genuine you didn't know where she wanted to side.
But I don't think that her character in any way revolved around the Joker. I think, again, this is why it's a flawed product. But you're hung up. He's hardly
in the movie.
Exactly.
But you're hung up, and that's one part.
No. That's one thing that I don't like. It's the fact, but that's symptomatic of this.
How much do you want to jam in this movie?
I thought that
hold on. I don't want to get hung up on the Joker. What about the other characters?
Symptomatic one. The Joker, not necessary to this movie. It's part of the reason that this movie doesn't work is because there's so many things kind of mishmash and jam. Captain Boomerang has some fun stuff. There's no development given to his character.
He's actually great. He's a comic relief.
Killer Croc. There's really no development given to his character.
Really
whatsoever.
funny.
Katana is introduced in 1-2 lines.
Strong female Asian lead.
But her character is given nothing to do and no. But start from 2
characters.
Exactly. There's 15 characters in this movie, and 2 of them,
you didn't get
like
that
you
in
say,
Civil War.
Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
I didn't get that as much in Civil War.
Every character in Civil War had an arc. Slipknot is introduced with 1 line of dialogue, and 60 seconds later he's dead. Tell me why that character should have been in the movie.
He's there to die, and I'm glad they didn't waste time telling me more about him because he serves a purpose in that story of showing them that they really can die.
But
that's why he's there.
Any number of ways.
That's why he's there, and it's a strong reason why he's there.
So clumsily, and it's
you
because
needed someone strong to die.
Okay, it's because this movie, but I'm telling you, that the reason why none of these characters work is because everyone's given short shrift except for the 2 movie stars, which are Harley Quinn, Will Smith and Margot Robbie.
Amanda Waller.
Amanda Waller is good in a supporting role,
Spencer.
but Jesus Christ, will you let me talk? Viola Davis is a badass in this movie, but again, her character does not have much to do. She is great. Viola Davis is great. The character of Amanda Waller, there's a scene where she does something very dramatic. The fact that she would do that is not set up at all. The fact that she is that brutal is not set up at all. It took me out of the movie. It's disconcerting that she would do something that brutal because, again, the movie does not give these characters enough time to breathe. And I'm not saying there's nothing redeeming about this movie, but you cannot say that a movie that has and you said the third act is a mess. The flashbacks, maybe they're not necessary. The Joker, he didn't have enough time. It does the pacing.
I like the Joker, to be
clarified.
But
again, you said that he doesn't have enough time in the movie and that there is a pacing issue.
I don't think this is a full-scale disaster of all time. When this movie is bad, it's really bad. I didn't hate this movie. I didn't really like this movie. There's a lot of fun interaction with the cast. You're
quoting my spoiler review.
I loved both of these actors in the role. I would go see another movie with these actors.
I just said that again.
You gave a lot of positives too. Is all my point
but I'm telling you that it's rotten because if you would listen to what I'm saying,
I don't understand why it's rotten.
There are positives in this movie, but the negatives.
Okay, hold on.
I'd like to make one comment. My only comment.
Jesus. Well, anybody?
Hal, shut up.
Am I going to get a chance to actually talk, or did I get one thing?
Well, I want to just interrupt me. I want to keep you guys on track. I've heard enough about the characters. Dan, I want you to address.
Why is it rotten?
Dan, I want you to
I've
been trying to tell you if you would let me talk.
I'm just trying. Well, we have to be able to respond.
Not
Otherwise, it's a list, and I don't have time to make my list.
I feel like
you sat there and did your list for like 5 minutes when we started.
You can say this. I'm trying to comment on your comment. Everyone's going to say we're talking over each other, but we got to both be able to talk.
Well, that's. I love that the rules change when you're competing and
No,
never
I'm trying
again.
to listen and say something, but when you list 10 things, how am I going to respond to 10 things?
You wait your turn like
Okay,
everyone else
I
has.
feel like I've
He
got a
doesn't want us
good.
to do 10 lists.
I've got a good sense of where you guys stand on the characters. I want to circle back to the plot
What's
really
rotten?
quick.
What's rotten?
No, so
I've been telling you 80 things that are rotten.
Dan, I want to give you a chance to say what's wrong with the plot, and you said muddled a lot, whereas Andy said this was a simple story to understand. I've seen the trailers. It seems like bad guys doing something good. So where is this muddled?
I don't think it's a simple story to understand, and the reason that it's muddled is, and I'm sorry especially that you haven't seen it because I'm going to get into a little bit of a spoiler thing, but you have the Enchantress. It's kind of set up. It's kind of set up who she is. They give her origin story and
Can we agree that Enchantress sucked?
Yes, the
I'll give
Enchantress
you that.
was
I'm
awful.
willing to give you that.
The Enchantress was awful. She has the sidekick who ends up being the big boss that they do battle with in the movie. It's not explained really who he is.
How cool though was
or
the
where-
hand shot?
Can I please
The
talk?
hand shot's cool.
Can I please
it's a
talk?
fight, Dan. I'm not going to keep
gotta
you both from talking, but I'm listening to you.
Okay, you have Enchantress. The reason that she doesn't work is because they never really set up her motivation or what she's doing exactly. They send the Suicide Squad to pick up a high-value target, they say. And that's said in one line. They go to the city. We don't know where the city is. We don't know of what consequence the city is. We've never heard of the city. We don't know anyone in the city. They're shot down in a helicopter. By whom? We don't know. No one
Aliens.
ever explains.
Aliens shoot her
They
down.
never explain.
I saw it twice.
They never
the aliens
explain.
shot him down.
Where do they say that in the movie?
I saw it. There's the beam from the lasers of the aliens.
No,
shot
it
him
gets
down.
shot down by a machine gun. It's not a beam. It gets shot down by a machine gun, Andy.
It's the orange flame
Not Amanda
thing.
Waller's helicopter. Their helicopter, the one that Will Smith is shot down
It's
by
shot
machine
down
gun
by
fire.
orange fire. That's
All right,
the
aliens
lasers.
or a
They
gun or
never
orange fire
explain
shoots
how
down a
or
helicopter.
why the Suicide Squad crash lands in the city. By the way, there's
is
no
all very
reason.
minutia,
There's
for the
no
record.
reason for them to crash land in the city. They just do for whatever reason. They go to get the hostage. The hostage turns out to be Amanda Waller. Now, I thought she was in Washington because that's the last place they put her character, but now she's in this other city that I don't really know what this city is or what it means to the rest of the plot. And then for whatever reason, they decide, okay, we need to go see the Enchantress. The Enchantress is awful. It's the same terrible action finale that you've seen in Fantastic and all these bad, mediocre comic book movies and all of these good things. And he said, what's rotten? What's rotten? What's rotten? You bring up Deadshot and you bring up Harley Quinn and you bring up Fun
Diablo
and
and
Diablo.
Amanda Waller.
And I'm
That's
telling
four
you,
characters.
and I'm telling you that it's
And
enough.
Joker.
And
It's five characters.
I didn't like Joker and he's the
But
prolific
just
movie.
to be clear, I brought up 5 characters that are
But
really strong.
you're acknowledging that the pacing is off, that it's a mess,
No.
that the third act doesn't work,
Third
that
act
the story
doesn't
is
work.
muddled, that the flashbacks don't mean anything, they're placed meaninglessly, and it's not a film snob thing to say that a movie's rotten because it's not a well-told story. Even a badly told story with some fun things is a badly told story.
Can I ask a question? Well, yes, respond to that really quick. Really quick. I have one follow-up question, then we'll do
Please.
final thoughts, and then we'll judge. Oh, you want to
you
hear it
have a-
now?
I was-
So,
well, I-
does this cast work as an ensemble
That's
together?
that cues me. I'd like to respond to that because here's the problem. Yes, you can get so hung up on the plot, and there is a plot. I followed the plot. The plot's fine. The plot is really about this team coming together. It's about what do you do with a ragtag of villains who are out there to sort of be these heroes you wouldn't expect, and how do they do it? It's a silly concept, but it works. It's a fun out there concept that I think is a ballsy choice by DC. I think it was fun to see putting these villains. They gave them a fair justification. Of course, but they clearly have a bomb in their neck, and if they don't listen, their heads
They
blow
have a
up.
bomb in their neck.
They have a bomb in their neck that if they don't listen, that's how you keep the villains in check, and it made sense to me. And
the
it was
old
fun,
battle
but
royale.
That's not the plot of the movie,
it's
Andy.
fun. It's fun. But I'm trying to explain the plot of the movie is those guys conflicted together, having to go and meet together and get out of the prison and do it. To see these characters interacting together and solve the crime, which it's a generic plot. I'll agree,
Yes.
but the characters
Worse
made it.
than generic.
But the characters were valuable and I think that's you're glossing over the fact that you did like a lot of the characters and you'd watch them again. I think that's a huge mark of a good movie. A rotten movie like Last Airbender or Transformers has
No,
nothing.
that's not
and I
true.
think Deadpool. Let's talk about the plot of Deadpool. It's a terrible plot. It's a stupid plot.
I don't
There
think
are
it
a lot
is.
of- yes, it is.
And
it's
it's
character
intelligible.
based.
It's character
that
based. You
third
know
act
what the
finale
characters
sucked.
want. You
There's
know why
my
they're
point-
fighting. You know what's happening. You know
He
exactly
should've
why
just talked
people are
to her.
doing what
We
they're
can
doing.
Nitpick. My point is there are plenty of solid movies where you can go specific and nitpick why are they doing this, and you're ignoring the fact that there's a lot of strong characters in a journey. Deadshot's arc is fantastic. Even the end and the bad.
What is his arc?
The end
What
and
is his arc?
He doesn't know if he's good or bad. He's struggling with that internally. He's got a kid who he's got to provide for, who we meet. A great scene where Batman cameos, and the kid stands in front of them, and he's got to choose. He's going to shoot out Batman, but the kid's like, "Don't do this, Daddy." And you instantly get connected to him. This bad guy who's a hitman. I'm not going to kill my daughter, Batman. I'm going to give myself to Batman because I love her. You see his internal struggle, and then at the end, when during that bad third act, which I agree, there is a moment of glimmer of fun where the Enchantress each gives them their role.
That
Harley
was
Quinn
awful.
gets a. I thought it was a great moment seeing what she really wanted with the Joker's regular when she has the kids, and you see Will Smith with his kid and he's shooting the Batman. Those moments to me were actually were the arcs carrying through. And then Diablo is a little rushed, but I still like Diablo standing up against that and saying this isn't real. We have to fight back. You saw the team unite and fight back, and that to me is what the story was, what the movie was. It didn't matter who the bad guy was. It was about those lead characters. It was about the Suicide Squad coming together, having that fun adventure, that journey, learning who they are, and they were a blast. They were fun. They were great characters that you have admitted they were fun, and I'm not going to get hung up on some story. I'm not going to get hung up on these story points that I think a lot of these movies.
The story of the movie.
Deadpool has tons of that.
It's not true.
Civil
Not
War
like
has
this.
that.
Not like this.
Avengers
Not
has that
like-
last third act,
not
which is
like
stupid.
this.
But my point is that doesn't make it a failure. That doesn't make it rotten. What
does.
would you rate out of 100? What would you give this movie?
60.
That's so fresh.
That is not.
Yes, it is.
That is not.
That is fresh.
That is not
I win.
fresh.
Look it up, Joe.
Yeah, we'll fact check that, but I'll take that as your final
I
statement.
think a D. I'm sorry. I would give it a D. I would give it a D.
Dan, what's your final statement?
I'm not on the fucking Rotten Tomatoes. I would give it a D. If I was grading it, I would give it a C- or a D.
Pass
that
or
to
fail.
me is rotten.
It's pass or fail.
Okay, it's rotten.
So would you give it an F?
I would not give it an F. But F
hold
is
on,
not rotten.
Andy, I've heard plenty.
I'm sick of seeing. He's gonna take that and say I should win because I said 60. I'm not judging on the fucking Rotten
just said
Tomatoes score. I'm
wait,
judging it on
sorry.
my personal scale.
I want to be
I would
clear.
give it like
you wouldn't give it an F.
no.
Okay, so you'd give it a passing grade.
If my kid came out with a D+, it'd say, you know what, little Jimmy, you can do better. You
That's
can
a
do
fresh.
better than a fucking
That's
D+,
a fresh.
Jimmy. That's not a fresh.
All right, Dan, let's hear your
not-
final.
not a
certified
fresh.
It's a fresh.
It's not a fresh.
I'm gonna take that as Andy's last statement. Dan, wrap it up.
Okay, I hate that you're trying to minimize this, like, oh, you're quibbling over these little story details. The plot, the structure, the complete framework of the movie does not work. And that is not a quibble. That is not being a film snob. And it is not saying that I'm asking too much, that the movie makes sense, that it makes some cogent sense. That just because in this random assemblage of scenes, in this complete mishmash of a reshot movie, that there are some moments of fun. That's enough to say, like, that's enough. That's not enough. That doesn't make it fresh just because you said fun 20 times. You said you like Deadshot and a few of the characters. You said characters, that there were characters in it and that it was ballsy, and you said fun 80 times, and I'm not refuting any of that. What I'm saying is that the movie doesn't pass muster because a few things that you like doesn't make a fresh movie. And when you look at these bigger things and the fact that you are admitting the tone is off, the third act doesn't work, there's some characters that don't work, the structure doesn't work, the flashbacks don't work. You are admitting that all of these things don't work and then saying, like, but there's some fun things in it. That to me doesn't pass muster for a fresh movie. If the basic essential thing that a movie should do is tell a good story, if it doesn't do that, I'm sorry, it's rotten.
Okay, time. Woo!
I love you, Dan. That was fun.
That was fun. Yeah, we're all friends when the cameras
Whatever
are off.
happens, I think we gave him a bloodbath.
Yeah, that was excellent. Let's go to Joe first for any fact checks.
Well,
I also want to know, who do they hate more, me or Dan? It's probably me.
Well, among 500 divorce people polled, communications problems came out on top as the #1 reason marriages fail.
I was going to say, that really sitting right here made me feel like I was in my boyhood home.
Would you change your vote?
What?
Now that you've heard the arguments, would you change your vote?
You know what? I'm ride or die with my vote.
We've got some folks chiming in on Twitter. They're a little split on who they're
divisive
siding with. A
movie.
lot of people calling out Andy for a bit of a heel turn. At Road Raider says, I love watching Andy.
I was going to say, wait, that's not a turn. New viewers, apparently.
A sustained heel presence. At Road Raider says, I love watching Andy and Dan disagree about a movie. They're like two sides of the same coin. And our own Lon says he disagrees with Andy on this so much it makes him retroactively hate Sing Street.
Wow.
By the way, Fresh on Rotten Tomatoes is between 60 and 74%.
Oh.
That's not, I was not judging it on the Rotten Tomatoes scale.
Dan, I will not get hung up on the semantics. I will not hold you that. I will say it's 60% out of 100, as in like a D.
That's a D
Okay,
minus.
well,
yes.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt on that because I'm sure if you knew, you would have said 60 or 59.
59. Yeah, I'm judging it on my scale, not the Rotten Tomatoes scale.
I don't want this to be judged on
It's an
technicality.
arbitrary
So
number.
don't judge on
No,
technicality.
if you had known, you would have gone under 60?
What?
If you had known that fresh meant 60, would you have gone under 60?
Well, yeah, because it's rotten.
Okay, I don't want to judge us on Rotten Tomatoes' particular technicalities. We're saying rotten or fresh in the general sense.
Yes.
And you guys both gave amazing arguments. Well done all around. I haven't seen this movie, so I came in as a blank slate, and I heard so much for and against. Everyone had a counter for everything else. The superfluous Joker versus the presence of Will Smith. The fun characters versus the unnecessariness of some of the characters. This was really tough. I had to give it. This is tough. I had to give it to the person who set their standards the best, who is less personal in their opinion, and that is Dan. I gotta go with Dan because he set the expectations for what works as a movie and it living up to or failing as compared to the standard of a movie, whereas Andy was living up or falling short of his own expectations, and because of that, I'm giving it to the madman Murrell for the first point. And not quite done yet, but on the scoreboard we need to see where Mr. Rudnick's loyalties
You can just
truly
give me the
lie.
point right now.
Andy Signore.
Oh, that feels better, Hal. Thanks, Hal.
Because I felt similarly to Andy in my view of the movie.
Yeah,
It was technically fresh.
Yeah.
and yeah, you know, I'm gonna see it. You know, you gave me enough that I am actually gonna go see this movie. But that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're going with round two, guys. We can't spend all day on Suicide Squad. 'Cause believe it or not,
We are, though. Isn't there one
We
more?
are spending like all day on Suicide Squad.
I said going into this, I was like, I'm not going to let Andy get under my skin.
Oh,
I'm
I
going to
know how to
stay
get
cool,
under your
calm,
skin.
and collected.
No
and
way.
yet you two actually are the best at it. You know how to do it.
I
Cheers
think
to that.
Dan has
But can we cheers
unrealistic
like
squad
that? I was
goals.
doing all that on purpose.
I
was
know you were.
I was interrupting on purpose.
I know you were.
No, you go into
Everyone's like, stop
defensive. You're like a
stop
porcupine. When
interjecting.
you threaten, you shoot barbs
That's part
back
of
at
the
people.
show.
It's
Yeah.
great.
You gotta
It's
throw
great.
them under because it
This
got the
is
pressure going.
Good internet television. Hal, you can finally speak because the question is, regardless of the reception. Oh, round two. Regardless of reception, Suicide Squad is a hit at the box office, so Spills at SWTR, Star Wars The Old Republic, Lucky, do you want to continue the franchise? And let's pitch Suicide Squad 2 is the question. So, up first actually on this, because there are only two, let's go with Dan first.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hal can go first.
Yeah, Hal
Do you
can
wanna
go.
first?
Hal,
That's
we've
crazy.
been
I thought
gapping all
What do you
day.
mean
there's
so
a-
sad?
Screws up
What do
my
you mean
whole
there's
order.
o-
It's my
what do you mean there's only two?
Because there were two in the last round, we're going to start the order over. Is this really important? Hal, if you want, go ahead.
I don't care.
I don't care.
They haven't heard Hal say anything.
Yeah,
It doesn't
Hal-
matter. You can mess up the
Yeah,
order. I
let
know
Hal-
what Spencer's stressing about, and it doesn't matter.
Go for it, Hal.
talk. It's fine.
Okay.
Or if you're not ready, we'll do that.
I am ready.
All right. Paint me a picture.
Amanda Waller. She is moving back and forth between Gotham and Washington, D.C. She is manipulating these villains to take out prime targets, and the Suicide Squad is working. But just like with drones, just like with anything controversial, there is collateral damage because they are not heroes. They do not care. And one man sees this happening, and it is making him furious. That man is the Batman. And the Batman wants to take down the Suicide Squad. But he realizes that's going to be tough to do by himself. So he's enlisting the Batman family. Welcome to the party, Robin. Welcome to the party, former Robin, Nightwing.
The dead one?
Nightwing. In this,
Got it. Yep.
he's alive.
I'm with you.
And welcome the mole that he uses to infiltrate the Suicide Squad. Catwoman. He goes to take down the Suicide Squad from the inside and the outside, and Gotham City is their bloody canvas.
Okay, BVSS. Got it. All right. So, Dan, what do you got?
So mine starts again. Sorry for the spoiler, Spencer. We can totally spoil it.
We should have spoiled it. I mean, I hope the audience
I hope
knew.
the audience has seen it. So Suicide Squad ends with the Joker breaking Harley Quinn out of Belle Reve, out of the prison. So Suicide Squad 2, which I'm assuming happens after some kind of a Batman movie, ends with, it's the cold open. Harley and the Joker are on the run from the Suicide Squad, who have been dispatched to retrieve Harley Quinn, who's been broken out. They get cornered on the top of a building, and it's Harley and the Joker, and Harley kind of grabs the Joker's hand, and she's kind of resigned to the fact that they're going to get caught, and she says, well, at least we'll be together, Mr. J, and he goes, like, he strokes her face in that creepy Jared Leto way and goes, sorry, Puddin', and jumps off the building, leaving her there to a rescue chopper, because the Joker's always got a backup plan to his backup. Totally abandoned
the chopper.
Yeah, well, jumps like, they got a rope
happens
ladder.
in the
That's
movie
kind of what happens in the movies. The Joker, he's always got something up his sleeve.
A lot of planes falling down.
He's quite a trickster. Anyway, the Joker basically abandons Harley to be captured by the Suicide Squad. So that's the cold open. Harley Quinn has been recaptured, and we pick up with Harley Quinn back with the squad, and the squad is struggling, despite the fact that they were able to band together to kind of defeat the Enchantress. It's just not working because these are such disparate supervillains, and there is a little bit of conflict inside. Everybody's got their own agenda. Amanda Waller gives Rick Flag a directive: get this group together or she will blow everyone's head off, his included. This initiative, it's too important. It's too important for this to fail. Like, this is her Black Ops deep squad. She's put a lot on the line for this. If this fails,
Sorry, who's she
she's
tasking
ruined.
with this? Who's she?
Rick Flag,
Rick
who's
Flag,
there.
okay.
He's like the good guy that works for her, that's in charge of keeping control of all
one
of them.
good guy. He's a soldier.
New RoboCop plays Rick Flag.
Joel
Kinnaman. But their next mission turns out to be personal. The Joker has seized control of a school in Gotham City, and their mission is to take out the Joker. So now, not only is Harley Quinn separated from the Joker, she's now part of the Suicide Squad, and she has to now be part of the squad that's going to take out the Joker, but she sees this as an opportunity to betray the team and reunite with him. So, of course, they have, the team is still having trouble getting together. Deadshot and Rick Flag are clashing over who leads the team. Harley's still angry that she's separated from the Joker. Captain Boomerang, Jai Courtney, gets a little bit more to do. He's kind of looking out for his own self-interest. He's looking for a way that he can spend this, maybe escape, maybe just try to take a bigger part in this team. He's tired of being marginalized. He used to be the boss. He's not anymore. Katana hates being forced to fight with all these villains. She's got the sword still with her dead husband in it, whatever that means. And much like the movie, Killer Croc is also there. So just as Deadshot says that, you know what, he's done, he's walking away, you can blow my head off if you want, Flag drops the bomb. The school that the Joker has taken over in Gotham, it's his daughter's school. And he has his daughter, Deadshot's daughter, hostage. Now, this is the person that means the most to him. And he says that he wants the lives of the Suicide Squad in exchange for the life of Deadshot's daughter. Now, Deadshot doesn't hesitate because he knows that he's going to make this sacrifice. It's his daughter, and he's able to rally the rest of the squad to storm the school, to storm Joker's army, and to try to take out the Joker to save not only his daughter's life but the rest of the kids in the school.
Okay.
Sorry. This is the last part. I'm gonna have to have the whole thing. Anyway, so Deadshot and Harley are kind of at odds a little bit. She's saying like, "Oh, don't blame Mr. J. That's just the way he is." And Deadshot's kind of like, "This is the man you love. Like, how can you love a lunatic who would do this?" And so this is kind of the conflict between the two of them. Harley's kind of questioning her feelings for the Joker. Finally, we kind of end as they're storming through, one by one, the squad members get disabled. Rick Flag, basically the only ones that you have left at the end are Deadshot and Harley. We're kind of back where we began. We're on the roof. Joker has Deadshot's daughter, and he's like, all right, give up, or, I'm dropping her off the building. I'm going. Harley approaches the Joker. You think that she's going to betray Deadshot and team back up with the Joker, but she doesn't, because Deadshot has gotten through to her. And she's realized that she is in love with a complete psychopath. And seeing that this person would kill kids, a school full of kids, this innocent kid that means so much to this guy who she's come to respect, she goes up to him. She's doing a Harley thing. She kind of seduces him. And the Joker is just kind of like, Harley, get over here now. Get over here right now. And kind of showing, because the Joker is really, this is an effed up relationship. And he really doesn't care anything for her. Basically, here's how it ends. Basically, it ends. He's trying to get Harley over there. The Joker says, at least we'll be together, which is what Harley said at the beginning. And Harley takes Deadshot's daughter and goes, sorry, Puddin'. Takes the kid, jumps out of the way. Deadshot takes his shot, shoots the Joker. He falls off the school, and now Harley, which is what this character needs to be anyway, is free of the Joker. She's seen him for what he is. She's her own character now. She's not tied to him, and the Suicide Squad is closer together now because they have kind of finally united under the fact that they may be villains, but they're still capable of doing good.
Killing off the Joker. That's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
I didn't say he disappeared. I said he shot him and he fell off a building. Maybe dead, maybe not. We'll see.
Okay.
Wow, I don't know about you, but that sounded so boring. I was so lost.
I was
through
compelled.
that.
Andy, let's see what you got.
The Suicide Squad in a school with dead kids. Look,
I did not say dead kids.
Whatever. He said she might kill these kids.
Andy, what's your pick? It's called Stakes.
Here, whatever. Here's what I loved about Suicide Squad. It was fun, right? Dumb fun. Here's what I want to do. I want to put these guys in space. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's my problem with the DCU, right? I don't want them stuck to this universe. It doesn't fit them. I want them to go have fun adventures where we're not constantly worrying, where's Superman? Where's Batman? How do we do this? So here's my pitch. Suicide Squad, right? They're back in the prison. They're all stuck back. There's a docked ship outside of the atmosphere that Amanda Waller and her secret team are like, we don't know what this is. This isn't one of ours. What's going on? We got to send someone up there to see it. They don't know. Who do we send? Oh, let's send the Patsies. Oh. No, Superman's dead, Spencer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They send the Patsies. Let's send them up because we don't know, what that is, and if they die, so what? So we suit them up, and we're going full on crazy with this. These are your lasers. This is your space bat. We're going all in. I want to embrace the fun
This is your space bat.
I want to embrace the fun of what it is. Kinnaman doing that. Like this is going to be your zero gravity bat, whatever it is. Let's just get them up there to have the fun. They are then equipped, put into space. I don't need a bunch of plot. I mean, a bunch of story to get us there. I want to have them fun. We're getting them in a spaceship, launching them into this docked ship, and it's aliens with Suicide Squad. They're in this docked ship. They don't know what's going on. Uh-oh, it's the Dorians. That's right, DC. I did some research, and the Dorians are a random alien race that are going to be there. They were in the JLL, Justice League of America issue 3. These guys were tricking it. But this is I'm rushing a lot. Unlike that, I'm going to give you the main points.
Just the hits.
There's going to be a lot of aliens. There it is. Look at it. The DeLoreans were a trap.
Wow, they look.
It's the slave
really
ship
dumb.
of space, Spencer. So they thought they were trapping the Justice League, but no, the Dorians accidentally effed up and they caught the Suicide Squad. So now the squad is the slaves of space, and they're going to be going around having to do the missions of the Dorians. I got Lobo showing up at one point because he's a bounty hunter and another fellow ship. Guys, we're going galactic. Let's take these awesome fun characters. Let's just have a silly get them there, and then let's have some damn fun for once in this DCU.
So you've gone
Okay,
from the Suicide
let's
Squad.
fight this out.
Yeah, so I'd like to chime back in. First of all, Dan pitched basically a bloated reworking of what we already
Yes,
saw.
totally agree. Not
So,
true.
yes,
Not true.
Oh,
Not true.
that relationship with Harley and Joker was exactly from the first movie.
Not true.
And-
It's like
yes.
there was a lot of nuance.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you kept talking about, Joker and Harley back and forth. That happened throughout this
It
movie.
did not.
That was
It didn't pay off.
If they're going to do that, I don't want the Suicide Squad there. Let's
You're
get a Harley
really
Joker
pitching
movie
more
going.
of the same, and
I'm not.
I'm proof positive pitching more that you were pitching more of the same. Part of your pitch that you just gave, you were like, Deadshot is still this guy is still that. You
Yes,
said
I'm
still
sorry,
this,
he still loves
that,
his
still-
daughter.
Oh no, you were saying these characters still have these same issues from the first movie.
this movie
it was a
wasn't executed
bloated
well.
version. Mine is an advancement of the story. Okay, you are taking this group, you are seeing them on missions, and there's an element of a movie that really worked to my story.
I'm sorry.
Which is,
Slow down.
excuse me, can I talk, please?
Hal, go ahead.
Of Captain America Civil War. There's a huge Civil War element.
That's a stretch.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought this was Catwoman infiltrating the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, with Robins and the Batman
Yes,
family.
but let
family,
let me tell you why.
Okay.
In Captain America Civil War, the Sokovia Accords were to rein in this group of people that were going around running roughshod and causing collateral damage. Batman is doing his own version. He wants to stop this group of villains turned hero that are going around causing a lot of collateral damage. It has the same idea of power going unchecked to it, and Batman is.
I
Why
don't want
wouldn't he just get
Batman.
the Justice League?
You can't do the Justice League because the
I don't
Justice
think you
League
can do the
would.
Batman family either.
You can
I don't
easily
want-
do the Batman family. You can't do the Justice League because the Justice League would wipe out the Suicide Squad.
I don't
the
want
Justice League is
Batman
way too
anywhere near
powerful.
this movie anymore.
I
I
don't
want him in his
either.
own
Oh,
movie.
I
I want
don't
Affleck
either.
to go do his own thing, and actually, I don't want the Joker in these movies either. I want
They
the Joker
all have
to
grudges
get
against Batman.
Let's
Batman
get those
put
going
half of
together.
them
Let's go
away.
have fun with this, like they're doing, and let's actually amp up
That's
the fun.
bananas.
Can I
Your-
point out
your
that
story.
You would see the shit out of that
I
movie.
once again got caught up on this film a snob thing called story, which is that I pitched a sequel that actually kind of advanced the story, particularly of Harley Quinn, and gave her a very important character development. You somehow made the franchise worse than it already is. You made them from kind of being Guardians of the Galaxy to just the Guardians of the Galaxy. And again, with Here's How, the last thing I think this needs is more characters, and you just double the number of characters. And we just had a movie they had trouble giving the characters that they have enough
Where's
to
the
do.
fun in yours, Dan? Because you even acknowledged this movie had some fun.
This movie had some fun,
Yours
and you
was
still have those
so
stars.
slow.
It's not the explanation.
I
It's
know,
not,
but
it's
you gotta
not the
give me
movie. There's
some.
action.
You
I
gotta
said
give me
there's
some.
a
Some
I
of
said
our
there's a big
characters
action
that I pitched
scene. I
are
said there's a big
established.
action scene, and I think this thing
All right.
needs to be darker.
Don't worry, Dan. You're the only one that pitched an actual movie. You get the points.
Now you hear what I pitched?
You pitched a premise. You pitched a setup. I didn't hear enough of a movie.
I have more of them.
They knocked you down with the too many characters. I didn't get the Civil War comparison. And Andy, yours does sound fun, but what the fuck
I can't
was
get
that?
props for fun today. I guess if the fun or failure stench is too
And
great.
dealing with the same issues. I mean, that's a good critique, but not good enough because every superhero deals with their same issues in every single one of their sequels. There's core struggles.
You
in
were
each.
rushing them along too. You know you were bored. You just don't want to admit it.
Yeah, but I didn't hear enough from you guys. So if you guys had
Well,
stronger pitches, you could have taken out Dan's. But knocking him down didn't give you guys a movie. You both picked some weird.
Oh man, I
weird
didn't
shit.
get to mention my third act.
I would have chosen yours too, Hal, over that one.
That's for another episode. Guys, we are moving on to non-Suicide Squad related
Yay!
questions. Woo! Finally. Whew. All right. At the only D-Pat ass, it appears as though Warner Bros. Has begun development on Man of Steel 2. Oh, we're still doing this. So Daniel Patterson asked, who would be your ultimate Man of Steel 2 director? And I guess if we're throwing the order out, Dan, you can begin with this.
Me? Okay. I went with Brad Bird. I think that... First of all, I think The Iron Giant is a great proof that that was a movie that had to do tangentially with, it's not a Superman movie, but it had to do with Superman, and I think it kind of proved that he sort of gets what the character is about. I think, secondly, despite what you thought of Tomorrowland as a movie, which, Tomorrowland admittedly didn't do great, but I think that it had some really great ideas. I think that the style of it was really kind of a fantastic. It was a very original visual style that he brought to that movie. And I think what Superman needs right now is a director who can bring an interesting visual style to the movie, but also understands the character and isn't afraid to mix in to get that mix of, the inspirational, hopeful things, but that can go to those darker places, that can go to the sentimental places. The Iron Giant, from a certain point of view, is a very dark movie. From the other end of it, though, it's also very inspirational, it's very hopeful, so I don't think you need to change tones completely. I think you have a director that can bring something different, that gets the character. I think that we have a Superman who's coming off of, I assume, being resurrected, and this is going to be his first solo movie back, so I think there can be a subtle shift in the way that the character's treated, and I think that Brad Bird would be a great fit for it.
Okay, Superman. That brings it to Andy. Who'd you pick?
Who's your ultimate Man of Steel pitch? For director, it's Richard Donner, man. I want to bring him back. I want to put some hope and some happiness and some heart in this movie. I think, yes, we can still have gritty DCU. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think you can have one hero who has a little bit more heart. And I think he established it early, and I think he continued to do fantastic movies through Lethal Weapon and beyond, that I think there's a George Miller turn there. I think he could totally come back from retirement with the help of others to really crush that out of the world. I'm not saying I want his Superman back, but I want a little bit of his heart and his take on things to re-inject that franchise, just like George Miller did with Mad Max. And I think that's how you do it. And I don't think Brad Bird or these people are going to be, I don't want to stick them in Warner Brothers right now. I want someone who's going to maybe be a little bit more legacy, who's going to get that respect that Warner Brothers say, okay, fine, well, we have to listen to you, versus Brad Bird get his hair pulled out, all these other people dealing with sort of the conflicts and studio pressure that's going to happen. So if we're going ultimate, he's available. I bet you we could talk him into it. I can give you more points as to why it's great, but I'm going Richard Donner.
Great.
I'll give you the number to his old age home. So,
You ageist.
the director should be Matthew Vaughn. Absolutely. No one's on a winning streak like Matthew Vaughn. Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, Kingsman. Wow. Not only can he deal with giving characters backstories, telling a good story, showing characters that are three-dimensional with heart, but man, he has stepped into the comic book world several times now and knocked it out of the park. So he's well versed in that. Action. Man, the guy directs the crap out of action. Big set-piece action movies. And how about that fight in the bar in Kingsman? Matthew Vaughn is really one of our finest action directors. He would, and not only could he direct the crap out of this movie, his movies have a joy. His movies have life. Kick-Ass is such an intense story. We saw what happens with Kick-Ass when it's in the hands of someone else. It becomes a really violent mess. But Matthew Vaughn directing that first Kick-Ass, it had a joie de vivre to it. This guy adds fun and joy to all these projects. That's what Superman needs an ounce of.
All right, good
I
picks
just
all
think
around.
he's tonally off.
I feel like we
base.
already have a great action director who's been doing Superman movies, and that's Zack Snyder. I kind of refer to Matthew Vaughn as slightly classier Zack Snyder. He's got a great great visual style and he's great at action, but we've already done that with Superman. And I don't think we need to do that again because
Zack
his
Snyder's
style
track
is very similar.
record is
But Matthew Vaughn's style is
Same
similar.
style in every
It's the
movie.
same
It's not
style.
Superman's style. I love
It's
Matthew Vaughn.
absolutely
I love Matthew Vaughn.
Superman
I don't think
style.
it's
Explain
Superman.
how. What? Give me more aside from just list his movies.
Okay, in these movies, in Kick-Ass, in Kingsman, there was a real light. There was a brightness. That's what Superman's missing. Richard Donner, if you brought... Yes.
It's all like edgy vagina. I mean, he's like raunchy. Like those are so extreme and gory. What's the light you see?
He did in Kingsman on a butt sex joke.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
is that the light?
No.
Is Superman gonna do that?
No, it's got the action, but also Colin Firth and Eggy and those characters are
I'll tell you
very
who
positive,
did that even
are
best.
very exciting.
Goonies. Can we go through all the movies
Listen,
of Richard Donner's career?
He's 86 years old, and that
That's
tone.
not fair.
And let me make
Not fair.
And let me make the important point. The most, and he hasn't directed a movie in 10 years. But the most important point is that tone would not work. You want to bring back that old 1980s Super, which is great.
No, I don't
which
want
is
that
great.
tone. He's made current day movies, and George Miller.
10 years ago.
No, yeah, but it does. George Miller last live action movie was Babe Pig in the City in 1998 before Mad Max. So for the record, you're wrong, and I think it's very ageist and unfair for us to say he's old. He can't do a movie again. This is an icon who's made fantastic movies throughout his whole career with heart. And there's whether you like it or not, Timeline was a recent movie that looked like a present day action movie.
Over 10 years ago.
Conspiracy theory. But it doesn't matter. Those are not the 80s era Superman is all I'm trying to pull.
My issue's not with Richard Donner or his age or how long it's been since he directed a movie. It's with Superman Returns. That was a modern day Richard Donner. But he may as well have.
That's not
but
fair.
I'm saying
Bryan
that's his
Singer
style.
made
But
that.
to say that he's going to radically change everything we know about his directorial style, that was made in the style of Donner, and it didn't quite work. And he's already had his chance to put his mark on the Superman franchise, and he did, and that's great. He gave us a Superman that's still there that we love. I want someone who's going to bring a fresh and original take, and that's why Brad Bird, I think it has that
He's
lightness.
not going to fresh take. He's done it already.
No, he hasn't done Superman.
Mr. Incredible is a way to do it, and I want him to
number
do
one,
more
that's
of
an
those.
animated movie.
You talked about
it's better than an
Can I get
animated
a
movie.
second? I think he's got the brightness that you want. I think Matthew Vaughn, like I said, we already have a great inventive visual action director.
He knows
doing Superman
not
movies.
to put,
I don't see him doing
his
Superman.
films are intelligent. Matthew Vaughn's films
But they all have
are
totally-
intelligent.
they all have a heart. They all
Brad
have
Bird
a
cannot
much-
direct live action.
they all
Brad
have a-
Bird's directed
Can I-
two live action movies.
I guess I
he
can't
does
talk.
not.
I can't either,
I'm
for the
just-
record.
I guess neither one of us can talk.
Everybody can talk.
No,
when it's
not
their
over
turn.
you when you just yell when we try to talk.
Oh, you yelled your way through the first
We're
round.
all
Dan.
yelling for the record.
Don't worry, Hal's talking is not
The
necessarily
point
helping.
is, Tomorrowland was not a good example for him to do
I think
Superman.
Tomorrowland is a
And
good example.
Incredibles is a fantastic franchise that I want him to do more of, and I want him to tell
I'm
more
not saying he
original.
can't do more
I want him to
Incredibles.
tell more original stories and not get stuck in Warner Brothers.
Well, do you want
because
him to do Incredibles or tell more original stories? Which one is it? Because one
Incredibles
of
is
them's
an
a
original
sequel.
story, but
It's a
no, there's
sequel to
original
a story.
characters that he created, and I want to see those original characters
And he can
go
keep
in new
doing that.
places.
He can absolutely
Ratatouille
keep doing
was an
that.
interesting new story.
He can keep
I
doing
don't think
Ratatouille
he
2,
worked-
3, and 4 if he wants to.
But I don't. When he did the original, the live action film, Tomorrowland was a mess. It was.
It was not. The script
It
was a mess. The script, he was let down by the script. The movie itself, I thought, looked great. It had a great new visual inventive style.
I'd
and
love
it
to make a
brought,
point
And
to
it was
that.
one of the most optimistic movies that I've seen in a long time. And that's what Superman needs, is optimism. Tomorrowland may not have been a great movie. There were story issues. There were structure issues. I'm not going to say he's blameless, but it had an optimism that you don't see in movies nowadays.
Hal, give your final point, and then, but also end with
These are
why.
finals?
Yeah, these are finals, and then end with why the other directors would not make a good Superman director.
Absolutely. Well, the point to what Dan was saying about the visual style of Tomorrowland, yeah, we already have someone who specializes in a visual style. That's Zack Snyder's only saving grace. Brad Bird has only directed 2 live-action films. I don't know if he can handle the intensity of Superman. He's brilliant. Don't get me wrong. He's brilliant. But Superman that's the set pieces, the action, the story. He's failed with one of his movies, and he made a Mission Impossible movie, which is cookie cutter at this point. Matthew Vaughn he's on a 3-movie winning streak. His movies have action, humor, heart, and excitement. He would know well enough not to end Superman with a butt joke. That worked for Kingsman, okay? I think he's a smart enough filmmaker not to be wildly divergent from the necessary tone. That's a silly point. And Richard Donner, he's got a great filmography. Hey, everybody loves Lethal Weapon. But it's just not realistic. Plus, the tone of his early movies is wildly divergent from what the DCU has established. Matthew Vaughn, I would be so excited if he took the reins because, again, heart, excitement, action, humor.
All right. Okay, good. I think I get why you each picked your own, but I want to hear the case against. So, Dan, for your final thoughts. Yeah, you will get it as well.
Yeah, my case against Matthew Vaughn. I love his visual style. I just don't think it's right for Superman. All of his movies have had a harder edge to them. Even X-Men First Class had the darkness, had the Holocaust, had all of that stuff in it that I don't think is going to have much of a place in the Superman universe. I'm not saying that he's a bad director. I just don't think that his style, I don't think that his tempo and his pace is great for what we need for Superman. Richard Donner, apart from the fact that he hasn't worked in the studio system for a while, I'm not going to use that against him. I think it's something that you could factor in, but I just feel like right now what Warner Brothers desperately needs to do is to look forward and find the next person who's going to bring something new to it, not look backwards. And I don't think, I agree with Hal in a sense that the style that Donner brought to those Superman movies is great and it works for them. I don't think it would work today, and I don't think it would be fair to expect him to completely adjust his entire directorial philosophy. I think that, you know, of everybody that's been pitched, I think Brad Bird is the one that most combines the tone, the style, and just a fresh take on the character.
All right, Andy.
Look, I like Brad Bird a lot. He's just done this before, especially in more present-day movies. I think even Iron Giant and Incredibles show us his Superman movies. And I love Brad Bird. I'd love to see him do more. I think Tomorrowland was a misstep that makes me worried about what he can handle. And honestly, I want him to make another Incredibles movie. And I want him to go make something original because I think he's a talent that, like Richard Donner in these movies that have done it, I want to see him make his Lethal Weapons in his movies and build up that filmography before resorting to another franchise like he did with Mission Impossible, which is fine. I want to see him do more, and I don't want to see him get stuck in this Warner Brothers system. And with Matthew Vaughn, he's just totally wrong. It's exactly the problems with what these movies are. You can say, oh, he can do others, and I'm sure he can, but he's not choosing to do that. In all the movies he does, he chooses to go that sort of more graphic, darker approach, even with X-Men, and I just don't think that's what Superman needs right now. Superman needs someone who can reborn him, who can bring it back, and I think it is unfair to say, oh, he hasn't done it in a while, he can't do it. George Miller proved that can happen, and to say he's too old or he can't do it because of his filmography is completely unfair. I think his filmography proves for the fact that he can make a strong movie, and movies aren't just based on the director. A director hires a great visual artist, hires a great cinematographer. It's a team effort when you make a movie, and someone maybe of his age could easily find people he thinks are going to really make that vision that he has work, and I think we could use it. And I think it's iconically a strong move for them to say, we're going to step back and try and save this Superman and make him an actual man of hope.
All right, strong round, all around. I would watch all of those movies. I'd see all their Superman movies, but I'm not going to forget you this time, Joe. What's going on in the fan camp?
There's also probably polls, right? Have we done any of the polls?
No, let's recap a little bit. Rotten or Fresh, we're split down the middle. The Screen Junkies universe is Florida right now. 49% Rotten, 51% Fresh.
Wow, that's evolved since you did your poll, even when it came out.
Wow.
It's divisive. That's why we did it.
But down the middle, and of course, I really think Warner Brothers wants their films to be that divisive moving forward. I think that's a positive way to market. Round 2, pitch Suicide Squad, 45%. Bat Fam versus Suicide Squad. Ooh. Hal took it. 18% Suicide Squad of the Galaxy.
Was that the last space?
Yeah, that was last round. That was your sequel pitch. 18% was the lowest number, Andy.
Hashtag Space
Space Squad.
I'll let you do
Hashtag
your ruling
Squad.
first, and then we can do the Twitter poll for this one. Let's see here. George Miller was 70 when he directed Mad Max Fury Road. Donner is currently 86. His last movie was 16 Blocks in 2006. Dutch Movie Guide says on Twitter, Donner has made his Superman. We're done with him. I see what you did there, Dutch guy. Well done.
Done with
at Sean Forney says Christopher Nolan.
I think we kind of got that with Man of Steel.
Yeah, we've seen.
He had a shot. He didn't want to do it.
At Project Avant says Catherine Bigelow, which is a cool choice. And at Andy Schick says, gentlemen, raise your drinks. The next question is the 1,000th movie fights question. Congratulations, Screen Junkies.
Okay.
Sure, wow.
Champagne or
We didn't know
something.
that.
Yeah.
True. I don't think we had any idea.
Mike's Hot
Andy
Lemonades?
Schick, what an honor. Andrew Schick, actually, he is the movie fight stat master. He will send me
we all
like the
do
most.
this.
If he says it, I believe it.
That's awesome.
I think I'm ranked 146 right now in the movie fight standings.
It's a long climb. But as regards to the 999th movie fights question, again, strong picks all around. And Hal, I'm sorry, they knocked you down too much with the tone. I don't see the comparison between Kick-Ass and Kingsman and Superman. I'm just not seeing the joy there. Dan and Andy, both really strong cases. Hal, you said that that Donner was too divergent from the DC universe, but maybe that's a good thing for Superman at this point. There were some good points against Dan that Brad Bird maybe can't direct live action, and we want him to stick to original stuff, but I do love an Iron Giant Superman. That's kind of his reel. But man, Andy, you just countered the ageism and inexperience argument so beautifully with George Miller and saying that he can get people around him, and that's not what a director does, and he's proven that he can take his old franchise and rehabilitate it. I thought it was a dumb pick, but I'm going with Richard Donner.
Boom!
Nicely done. You're on the board.
Not a goose egg.
All right, but it's not over yet because this one's gonna go long, guys. Buckle up. You knew it would when Andy and Dan got in the building.
When you're sitting here fighting, you feel like you're not getting your words out.
Yeah.
Did you realize we were that long?
54 minutes. That's insane. I apologize.
When you yell at us, it doesn't feel like that when you're fighting.
It doesn't.
Well, so this will be a speed round, round 4, submitted by Arid50, and this is good because I don't really like Disney movies, so I'll make this one quick. They're doing full speed ahead with their slate of live-action movies. So Anthony Riedel asks, what is the best Disney live-action movie? I forgot who I started with last time.
I think
I think I started last time. So
Go
Andy
for
would
it,
start.
Andy.
It's hands down Mary Poppins. I mean, all these other movies that are going to be said are great movies, but one defined it all. It was Walt Disney himself's favorite movie. It's 100% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. It has 12 Oscar nominations for Best Picture, Director, etc. 5 wins. Julie Andrews, the music, the song, the editing, VFX, 2 Grammys. This movie defined a generation. I think it defined a whole class of movies. It's a beautifully told movie, so creatively told, beautifully made, wonderfully acted, songs that will never leave your brain, and I just think it's just a fantastic film that you can't discount. It's easily Disney's best live-action movie.
Okay, Hal.
No, it's not, because Disney's best live-action movie is Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl.
That's the first one, right?
The first one, yes. The first of the Pirates franchise. Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow, bam, instantly became part of our cultural vernacular, an iconic film character, if you will. And not a bad cast to go along with that. Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom were delightful. Jeffrey Rush as the villain was frightening and amazing, and that fight on that wheel as they're going through the ocean is mind-blowing. And it's a very good movie. It's 79% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it made over $600 million just domestically. It's a major hit, and it stepped the game up. It made Disney relevant in the live-action realm again. Okay, it was really a game-changing movie, and it's what you call a 4-quadrant movie. It's a movie that appeals to young, old, male, female. Everyone loves, man, and so much so the rest of the franchise, which I'm not talking about, but like off that goodwill, I just went and saw it with my mom, and we both had a good time. You know, anyone and everyone can go see these movies. What a joyride that Pirates of the Caribbean. It is absolutely what do we want from Disney? We want fun. We want something that is a magical joyride, a fantasy. Pirates of the Caribbean is the best of live-action Disney.
Yo ho, yo ho. All right, Dan, what do you got?
I respect both of your choices, but I actually picked the best Disney live-action movie of all time. It's The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer was the MCU beginner before there was an MCU. It was before the comic book bubble. If The Rocketeer were made today, I think it would be a massive hit. It has one of the best scores for any movie ever by James Horner. It has one of the best villains in any movie ever. Timothy Dalton as Neville Sinclair, the Nazi double agent / actor. It's one of the great, like, amazing, just joyously evil villain performances. Hal, I'm going to borrow your phrase here, Jennifer Connelly at the height of her powers. And it's a great relatable tale. It's an everyman who finds a rocket pack and gets to become a superhero. Like, who can't relate to that? Who wouldn't want that to happen to them? It's so joyful, and the fact that it's Cliff Secord, and you have Alan Arkin is so great, but the fact that the character of Cliff, he gets to become this kind of like mythic superhero and defeat Nazis and evil. It's such a great throwback to the 1940s serials, and it's just drips with like joy and enthusiasm. It's an unappreciated movie. It for a movie that didn't do as well as it did, for it to still 20 plus years later be as relevant as it is. They're just, I think, announced a possible follow-up to it. I think it's a movie that's grown with age. It's a movie that stood the test of time. It's my personal favorite, and I think it's just a fantastic, just joyful little gem of a movie.
All right, tear apart these classics, guys.
I think Pirates of the Caribbean, he even made the joke, Spencer did, is that's the first one, right? I mean, I cannot tell you which one's
we're just
which.
talking about the first one.
But my point is, they're all the same, is what I'm trying to get at.
No,
Pirates of the Caribbean,
no, they're not.
to me, the success of that movie is Johnny Depp. That movie, you even said the scene with the wheel. I was like, was that part 1 or part 2? I just think they all blend together, they're a fun romp. I'm not knocking the movie. The first one is fun, but I would argue and challenge that I don't think enough people really remember which one's which. I think they all would say that's the best performance.
That's because
Johnny Depp is a strong performance.
There have been 4 of them. I think that happens.
They all blend together. They're all pirate ship cliches. It's all yo ho, yo shorty yo ho. It's like it just starts getting so repetitive.
Take yourself back to 2003 when it came out. It was a cultural phenomenon.
Johnny Depp was a cultural phenomenon.
The movie was a box office bonanza.
It was a successful movie because of Johnny Depp. It's not the best movie. It's Johnny Depp's fantastic turn, and that's what saved that movie. It's not the best movie. I would argue Rocketeer is a way better movie than Pirates of the Caribbean.
I disagree because Rocketeer doesn't hold up. The special effects don't hold up.
Not every time. The problem is the Rocketeer wasn't a hit. It didn't work. It didn't find its audience. If this was best underrated live-action Disney movie, I'd give it to Rocketeer. But you can't put Rocketeer up next to Mary Poppins.
Sure, and the Pulp and Camp are a little
They're not
too
even
cute.
close. Sure, it's fun. I agree. It's a fun movie I liked as a kid, but it didn't pave anything. It didn't do anything for Disney. It was a huge bomb for Disney. You can't ignore those things.
But that doesn't have anything to do with the quality of the movie. Shawshank Redemption was a huge bomb. The Wizard of Oz was a huge bomb. It's a Wonderful Life was a huge bomb. To say it's a throwback like, oh, well, it was a huge bomb, that doesn't mean it can't be a great movie, and that's what it is. It has grown over the years.
It's still not a known movie like Mary Poppins is.
It is a known movie. And
Shawshank Redemption became a very popular, high-selling video.
Sure.
The Rocketeer didn't.
But we're not arguing what's the most successful. I'm arguing the best one, and out of all of them, this is the one that I would watch absolutely right now. Mary Poppins,
that
absolutely.
You would watch.
It came out in the 60s. Julie Andrews won an Oscar. It did win a lot of awards, but
people
for
still
me,
watch it.
They watch clips from it. So
No,
they're never
kids watch that movie.
I'm sorry. When she
something?
starts singing Tuppence, I snooze.
It inspired one of the best Simpson episodes.
When she talks about feeding the
Can we also
birds.
mention
We'll put that to the test.
It's got great parts.
Sherry Bobbins, one of the best Simpson episodes ever.
I'm not going to count that.
I feel like,
Why not?
there are certain parts of Sound of Music in Mary Poppins that are easy to confuse. Mary Poppins has not aged well.
It has cartoon characters in it.
It was an early.
Have you seen it, Hal? It holds up very well. Still a very successful Broadway
years
musical.
And years ago. Great, that's great. I'll go see it on Broadway, but I don't want to pop it on the TV.
You should see it again because it's a beautiful story. It's not a kids movie. It's not about saving the kids. They even did a remake about it. It's about saving the adults. These adults who have their kids stuck, and you think Mary Poppins is coming to save these kids, and the kids are in this poor family.
A nice tale.
It's a really deep, strong tale because the parents are too busy. They're not paying attention.
It's not a tale as old
Let's
as
go
time.
fly a kite. Let's go fly a kite together. It's a very powerful, strong movie.
What was happening with the guy who was laughing and floating in the air? And Dick Van Dyke is there's another guy. Ed Wynn, Mike Carlson's favorite guy, right?
Yeah,
Ed Wynn. He's in that movie. He's jumping around.
It's so
on the
good.
ceiling.
They're finally doing a sequel with Lin-Manuel Miranda. What is Miranda? Hamilton, who must be still a popular franchise.
There's parts of that movie that are great, I'll grant you, but there's a lot of that movie that's a little hit or miss. I'm just saying.
Like Pirates has the critical success and the box office success, and it was a game changer. It was a rollicking adventure that is second to none.
I think Pirates was an average action movie that was elevated by a great performance.
Yes, it's best movie, but based on a Disney ride, you'd win hands down.
One great performance. What about Jeffrey Rush? And Keira Knightley stole everyone's heart in that movie.
Come on, she stole everyone's heart and bent it like Beckham. We all know that.
Keira Knightley was delightful.
They were fine.
Gore Verbinski knocked it out of the park.
Jennifer Connelly stole my heart way more.
I just think that mine's the best because it's such a great. It's the most relatable. It's what everybody dreams of. It's finding something and becoming a superhero.
I couldn't even tell you who played the Rocketeer.
Because I like mine better, you like yours better. You have to have another point.
It's time, guys. There's only so many hours in the day. I could listen to you all night, though.
You do every day.
Yeah, but Joe, let's go to you first for the facts.
I did want to clarify, what was the wheel scene you were talking about in Pirates of the Caribbean, Hal?
When they're spinning the wheel, isn't that part 2?
That's part 2.
Yeah, he's wrong.
That is part 2.
That is part 2.
Part 1 is when they're on in the shop.
When they were on the seesaw.
They're on the seesaw.
Oh, man.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Part 1 is they're on the seesaw.
That's what I meant. Him and Jeffrey Rush.
I did want to
No, it's him and Orlando Bloom.
Yeah. He doesn't
fight Jeffrey Rush in part 1.
Disney's remake schedule got brought up in this, and I do want to clarify, I feel like just based on facts, that can't be a quality check indicator. They're remaking Pete's Dragon. They're remaking almost their entire film slate, so Mary Poppins, Rocketeer being remade probably
Mary
can't
Poppins is a
do
sequel.
it.
They're gonna remake
Rocketeer
everything.
is also a sequel.
Oh, is it a sequel? I thought it was
Well,
a
they're
remake.
saying it's not a remake. They're saying
Oh, I
it
like that
exists in
better.
the same universe
That's
as
more
the first
fun.
movie. Yeah.
Shared Disney universe. Let's see here.
Can Mary Poppins be in there too? A similar time
They
period.
both fly.
Adjusted box office. Poppins 102.3 million. The Rocketeer.
Is that for inflation?
This is inflation.
Okay.
The Rocketeer 46.7 million. Terminator 2 kind of tossed it out of the window. Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean 1.066 billion
That's worldwide.
worldwide.
Very popular.
Wow. Okay. Man, damn it, Hal. I was going to go with you. But Jeffrey Rush, he brings up a good point that two of the things you mentioned that were great were not in that
Jeffrey
movie.
Rush was in the movie.
He's not... Well,
They didn't fight each other on a wheel.
They didn't fight each other on a wheel.
That's just semantics.
That's tough. That's really tough. It's making it tough. Okay, I'll say you're still in the running. How's that? But the guys, wow. Hal was the leader for me in the clubhouse. Mary Poppins, you really gave a good all-around argument that it's got a lot going for it. You argued a lot from its statistics, from its impressive pedigree and the songs. I didn't hear... I'd like to hear if Tuppence really would put Dan to sleep, but otherwise I think it's got some great music to it. Yeah. Dan, your argument was so personal. It was so much of the things that Dan Murrell loves, and the one I would watch. And I'm not sure if those effects look good today. So this is like a toss-up. This is a 33-33-33 toss-up for me. So... Oh man, do I give it Hal even though he got the facts wrong? I said at the beginning the facts don't matter. Hal, you're still in the game. I thought you gave a better argument for Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's weak.
Thank you.
I'd rather Dan got that point.
Guys,
Hal didn't even know what movie he was fighting.
Yes, I did.
Come on, Twitter. That was BS.
you know, it's yeah, you know.
Listen,
I'm
I'll
willing
tell
to-
you. I'll give you one definitive
That was
fact.
a perfect
I'll give
example
you
of a
one
judge trying to
definitive
make
fact.
things interesting.
The
At least be honest,
as
Trailer
Andy
Man.
tells me to
I
do.
don't do that. I never do that.
That's incorrect.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
I'll give you one fact about that first Pirates movie. The Cthulhu-looking octopus face
that's
motherfucker.
what
It's not in it. It's not in it. I was just.
I'm taking that bit back, Hal. I'm taking it back.
The show I was about to say
Yes.
is not in it. He was
What?
not. I was about to say.
Oh, Hal, you're
This octopus motherfucker is not in
Come
it.
on.
I swear to you. We were talking about it earlier. We were talking about it earlier.
What is happening?
I swear. No,
Man.
that's what happens when you
not
guys,
making it easy
no,
on me.
That's what happens when you guys jump on someone and don't let them finish.
That's
I'm gonna let
Thanks,
you
movie
finish.
fights.
I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm gonna let you finish, but
I swear to you.
Did you take the point away?
Ask
Well,
JTP or Ken. Weren't we talking about that earlier? And I
was or
said,
wasn't Hal joking is now what this hinges on.
need to have
It's
a
like Donald
child.
Trump.
Where's
No,
the justice
I
bot? Oh wait,
swear.
Hal is the justice
Guys,
bot.
Listen, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a fucking liar.
But you do joke a lot.
I do joke a lot.
Joe, what do you think? Is
I
that
mean,
a comedy or not?
No,
You know what? The
I wouldn't get up
effects,
like that if that was.
the effects in the Rocketeer are still pretty fucking great, Spencer.
Okay.
And-
Come on.
I mean, the squid guy wasn't in the first Pirates of the
That's what I was
Nor was
saying.
the wheel
yeah,
spinning.
the squid
Which
guy
I pointed
wasn't.
out.
He also
You
didn't.
already
I
gave
don't
me the
believe he
point.
sword fought Jeffrey Rush in the first movie.
You did the. They played the applause effect already.
Mary Poppins is my favorite movie too,
Why would
Dan.
you- why
I
would you
really
take
love
it
it
back
from a
when I was
personal
saying-
reason.
Wow.
Here's what
I'm
I was-
being ganged up on, and I don't appreciate it. I know I probably made a dumb call, but I
Listen.
think I already made it, so we're going to keep moving on with the show. Hal, take your stupid point. You're still in the game. Let's do this dumb round and wrap it up.
wasn't in.
Okay, here we go. This one's fun. This one,
This is literally Russian roulette.
this one is Russian roulette. We're going to keep this fast because we're already
Except
over
there
an
are
hour.
nothing but bullets in the gun.
Yes, this is Russian roulette, where every chamber is loaded, and you guys are all still in it for the end. So let's see what happens now. This is a blind fight. We have 5 terrible movies in a cup. Now, where is this cup? Ken Napzok? Thank you, sir. You're the Vanna White of movie fights. All right, so
Nice pocket square.
we have got 5 terrible movies in this fight. You will each pick one and then be forced to defend it as if your life depends on it. Andy, would you
We
pick
should all pick
first?
So
ours,
this is
right?
we're arguing on why this is the best
These
movie
are-
out of the 3, right?
We should say we all agreed
Or
to
this is a good
5
movie.
We all agreed
Yeah.
to 5 terrible movies
Yes.
that we all deem terrible. We now have to defend as if this is the best movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't peek in the cup, Andy.
Oh, come on. I didn't know.
Wheel of Fate. Okay.
Okay, and who went first? So Dan, you're gonna.
Should we each say what we're doing so we all know how to argue this?
Yeah, say first, Dan, and then think about what you're gonna say.
Oh, this is great. I got The Last Airbender. I'm super psyched, guys.
Are you though?
Yeah.
All right, great. Hal, what'd you get?
I got Fantastic Four. For the record, which Fantastic Four?
2015.
2015.
All right. Oh, excellent.
I got Transformers: Age of Extinction. Age of Extinction.
That's the Mark Wahlberg one, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Wow. All right, Dan, make the case for The Last Airbender.
Now, it's over these two, right? Why I should watch The Last Airbender over these two?
Why it's a better movie.
Why it's a good movie.
Why it's a good movie. Okay, well, here's first of all, you've got M. Night Shyamalan, who... Say what you will, he's had some missteps. Still a very talented director, talented visually. Next, you have an adaptation of one of the most beloved cartoon animated series of all time. Now, what The Last Airbender does is take a lot of those stories that you love, condense them into one movie. You're going to lose a little bit in the adaptation, sure, but you still have great special effects. It's a very visually engaging movie. I think that you have a great villain in the piece. It's a very personal story with the villain, and I think that over these two are empty spectacle. I think this one at least has story. It's got a heart. It's got characters that you can connect to. These are both just summer cheese. You forget them the second you leave the theater.
Unforgettable. The Last Airbender. All right. What else you got?
You won't forget it.
Yeah. I believe it's your turn, Hal.
Great. So Fantastic Four is easily the best movie out of these. It took a chance with the origin story of these characters. You say it's from beloved source material. What more beloved source material is there than the Marvel's Fantastic Four? And the personality that it really carved out each of these characters, and they were played by some of our best young actors. You get to see Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, Kate Mara. What wonderful performances there were in this movie. Also, it had such a great modernization of the villain, of Dr. Doom, okay? It really put a modern spin on Dr. Doom, okay? So that modernization, bringing him into the digital internet world, that was a real bold, interesting take. Now, we all know that Josh Trank didn't get to fully realize his vision, but there's enough there that easily makes this far and away. When you watch this movie, you see the struggle that these characters are going through. There are really beautiful moments that get overshadowed when people talk about Fantastic Four. Like Michael B. Jordan's struggle when he's becoming Human Torch, how, like, ow, fire hurts when he's getting used to it. Like, no, we really take that for granted. We really take that for granted that these superheroes, yeah, they just get their powers and they're fine in so many movies. But this has an evolution of them coming to terms with their powers. So it was a cool, interesting take on this story, a great origin story, and yeah, there's so much to like.
Look, if there's one director that I want to take my entire family to see during the summer, get some popcorn and just have a great time, it's Michael Bay. Michael Bay is one of the best action directors of all time. He knows how to make a crowd pleaser, and this is his fourth entry into this film. You know what you're going to get, and you got amazing robot action. But not only that, we got an Academy Award nominated actor joining the fold in the amazing Mark Wahlberg. He's an inventor. He can invent things. I mean, that just took things to a new level. He got to help invent these Transformers, but let's not forget, this movie also finally drops the Dinobots. As a kid, that was something I'd always dreamed about, and I got to see the Dinobots in action. So I can go on and on about why this movie is a fantastic film. I mean, talk about also diversifying. They spent a lot of their movie in China. The China audience got to be involved in this film, which I think is unfair to a lot of their movies. They don't get to see a lot of our big budget movies, but we got to really get them involved in this movie and make this a hit worldwide phenomenon that it is, and everyone's happy. I have the best director. Mine made the most money. This is the best movie. Fantastic Four was a train wreck. Airbender completely demolished its source material, and M. Night Shyamalan is a joke. Michael Bay, baby, all the way.
Michael Bay's not a joke. First of all, if you're going with the family angle, what better way than to take your kid to that fantastic summer movie, Age of Extinction, and teach them how they can also have sex with underage girls?
Yeah,
that's a great lesson that Age of Extinction
teaches. Hey, it's an important thing to know, because I don't want my kid to go to jail.
I don't want my kid to know any of that.
Let me
I don't want my
piggyback.
kid to get... When you're a kid, sometimes you make mistakes, right, Spencer? And you want to know what the law is.
Not like that, Andy.
Second of all, the Dinobots are on screen for about 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. It does have China in it. That's somewhere in the third hour of the movie, I think. I don't know a child that would or could sit through that movie. It is butt-numbingly awful.
Well, a lot of kids did. Let's look up the box office numbers.
It's the lowest in the U.S. It is
compare
the
to
lowest
yours.
grossing Transformers movie.
Your movie is completely offensive to all races. It took
It's
all.
not.
Yes, it is. It cast a bunch of white actors in ethnic roles, which is completely inoffensive. And I don't want to take my family to that. I think that's whitewashing and completely unfair of M. Night Shyamalan, who should know better and should cast diverse talent.
Patel and
I'd love to
Asif
chime in.
Manvi, I believe,
I'd love to
are
chime
not
in.
white.
You mentioned China. That was just a blatant cash grab. China is
No,
shoehorned.
that's
the
unfair
plot
to
was
China.
shoehorned.
It's the
Oh, it's
unfair to
unfair to
China.
China?
Yeah, China
Oh.
deserves to see our movies too.
They do. They see all of our movies.
Yes,
No, but they want to be
this
more involved.
Shoehorned China into the movie in an uncomfortable way, and it was so long. You talked about your film in such vague terms. I'm questioning whether you saw it or
I don't
not.
think he has.
Also, I watched it for our M. Night Shyamalan Screen Junkies episode. It made me want to slit my
Well,
wrist.
do you want me to talk
It
about
was
how I
so
reacted to
bad.
Tell us
Fantastic
about the
Four?
movie.
If you
Why don't you
want.
tell us
I
a little
don't
bit
know.
more what
I
you
don't
love
know.
about The Last
As a
Airbender?
kid in this movie, his name is Ong. He is the last airbender. He knows how to airbend. It's a very powerful thing in this world. There's firebenders. There's like earth and
I really don't want to
waterbenders.
hear the plot of
yeah,
this,
there's
but
all
I
kinds
believe
of stuff.
you've
He
seen
asked
it.
me what the plot was, and I'm telling you what the plot is. And again, this is something that kids like. It is actually a kids movie, not like Transformers, which is definitely not. You talk about how your movie took chances. It didn't. It didn't take a chance at all. It wimped out halfway through and made the worst third act to any superhero movie I've seen. What was modern about Dr. Doom was that the crash test dummy suit was the fact that he got punched to death somehow,
Fantastic
despite the
Four.
fact that he was invincible. That is
Complete.
awful.
It's not even a functional movie.
Here's the thing.
Halfway through, you learn what's happening. Where do they go?
It does have a
It's
flawed.
complete
It does have a
train
flawed
wreck.
third act, but the build-up was really satisfying, and that was exciting. And seeing their origin stories, and so much of it was done well, and they had well-cobbled relationships. Last
They didn't.
Airbender,
They left
yes,
Invisible
they
Girl
did.
behind for no
I think
reason.
Hal should lose a point for admitting faults.
No,
I'm not admitting any to mine. Mine's the best movie.
Last Airbender, it was sleep-inducing. It was
wasn't.
so boring.
I'm
and
sorry that
tired.
big action.
Totally.
They had a huge action finale with the waves coming over like the big ice wall. That's a big action
was
finale.
so
I'm sorry if
poorly
that puts you
done.
to sleep.
It was
Oh,
so
you want to talk
poorly
poorly
done.
done? Talk about the entire third act of your movie.
Talk
The
about
worst
your
ending
entire
No,
movie.
no. I'm telling you, kids will enjoy it.
And
That is something you can take.
What
to
about the
family, too.
color palette of your movie? Last Airbender,
It's very
if you watch
colorful.
the show, it's vibrant. Oh, it's dour.
It's not dour.
Yes, it
It's
is.
amazing.
Again,
source
I
material
love that
that's
you
been
keep
crapped
saying,
on.
like, you made a comic with the Fantastic Four who wear bright blue and white costumes. Talk about a dour color palette. I couldn't see your movie. It was like it was shot on a brick of coal and then projected on a black piece of butcher paper.
You couldn't see the Human Torch. I could see his fire perfectly
But you're talking
fine.
about taking a vibrant piece of material and making it dour. That's all your movie did.
And
That's the only trick your movie
we
had
had
up
a
its
lot of
sleeve.
great moments. Talk about the
Age of
science fair
Extinction is
scene.
one of the most mind-numbingly
No,
terrible
Age of
movies I've
Extinction has
ever
some
sat through
amazing
in my
action
life.
sequences.
It's an hour too long. We've
Amazing
seen it
aging
before in the
sequences.
other three
It's
Transformers
what you're
movies.
expecting. It's what you want when you want this. They've made 4 of these for a reason because people go and see these movies. That's why it's the best. Your movie was a complete train wreck. It was supposed to be a franchise, and it killed it. Both of your movies were supposed to lead to more, and they didn't.
Your movie
Mine has
is-
a 5th already in production.
Because
you
of
know
China.
why? I'll tell you
And
why.
nobody in the
because
US
people
liked
saw
it.
the
Andy,
movie. Whether
I would
you
love,
like it.
I would love to tell you why. Your movie is noise with good branding. Okay, that's all it is. It's got great branding. That's
All
why
of our
people
movies
will go
had
see
good
that
branding, and
garbage.
mine did it the best.
one
This
piece of
did not
product
have great
placement.
branding.
Yeah, Fantastic Four is great branding that they messed up.
It had
Thank you for
terrible
admitting it.
branding. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, because they couldn't do the material right.
No,
Mine at least looks like Transformers.
The studio messed up the advertising. You all know that the studio screwed up the advertising for Fantastic
studio
Four.
screwed
You're
up
admitting a lot of
everything
fault,
about
Hal.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, with the advertising.
What,
I'm
so you're
talking
admitting
about,
your film's not perfect?
I'm admitting the advertising, the ad campaign, but
Because I didn't hear Dan shit on his
My
movie.
movie took a kids show that kids enjoyed, and they made a movie
my
that you could
film-
take kids to that they will enjoy.
I'm being-
What else would you want?
I'm
from that?
That's
being
what
real.
kids don't come to enjoy my. Now, Green, I don't
Kids
take a
don't like your
3-year-old.
movies.
I don't take a 3-year-old to Transformers or your movie. I take a 12-year-old or a 7-year-old.
I would
and
much
yes,
rather-
they do go to see Transformers
I would
movies.
much
My
rather my
film-
12-year-old sit through
Kids
The Last
can go to the
Airbender than
movie. They're not
Transformers
just all
Age of
4-year-olds.
Extinction.
My film had more redeeming moments. Miles Teller's friend, The Thing, their relationship growing up, the science fair.
That's the first 10 minutes
Yeah,
of the
your
movie.
movie's just so boring and ruins a franchise and ruined
Yeah.
a bunch of fantastic characters that they shouldn't, that they completely made unfantastic. Your movie, Avatar, is just offensively bad. The wooden acting, the script goes nowhere.
It's a
movie
so
for kids,
poorly.
and kids
My
enjoy
movie is a fantastic ride.
It's not
has
a fantastic
fun.
ride.
My
It's not
movie's-
a fantastic
my
ride. My
movie's
movie was
the
made
only
for an
movie
audience
that
that
had-
pleased
Mine
that
is the
audience.
only one
I
that
get
has
where Andy's
redeeming
coming from.
value.
Hal, final thought?
My movie's the only only one with any redeeming value. If you realistically watch these three movies, this is the only one that has character development, real moments, and it sets up something very exciting, and there's great action throughout.
Okay, good points, Dan.
Yeah, let's break these down realistically. Your movie tried to be something. It's a complete failure. It tried to be something ambitious, then it wussed out at the end. It is a complete and utter failure. Age of Extinction.
Sounds
again,
like you were calling your movie.
Failure. It's adults. It's too stupid for adults. It's too long for kids to sit through. Last Airbender. It was a show that kids enjoyed. They made a movie that kids enjoyed.
No, they didn't.
It was made for an audience, and it served that audience.
Time.
They didn't.
Guys,
They
time.
didn't enjoy it. They did not enjoy it. They
Wow.
enjoyed mine.
Well, who's to say? We should bring a kid in here and subject
exactly.
them all
Well,
three
How
of
are the
them.
box office results?
Did you talk to children this morning?
No,
Andy?
but I can
Ask
go
them
look up
what's-
the box office
Okay, good.
and the other movies that are coming out.
Good fight, guys. Good fight. It's already over. But, Joe, before I render my decision, any fact checks on that mess?
Mark Wahlberg was nominated for an Oscar for Best Performance, did not win, Andy, and this was also not the highest-grossing Transformers movie. Revenge of the Fallen narrowed this out by a
that
few
two?
$1 million.
Yeah, it's two.
Hey, Joe, I've never heard of the Oscar category Best Performance.
Best performance
Best
by a
supporting
man.
actor for The Departed.
Best performance by an actor in a supporting role.
Thank you, sir.
On a fight in a wheel.
Okay, so low blow. Hal won that point, but he's not winning this one. I had to throw out the criticisms and go for just the case made for the movies, which is an impossible task, I know, because you can tear all of these apart, and that has to go to Andy. The passion is part of the argument, and I actually believe that you like Transformers: Age
I
of
do
Extinction
not.
after that movie, and I know
I
you
played
hate
the
that.
part.
It was both of theirs killing the franchises was a good point, and we're still getting Transformers movies. Dinobots, your pro-China attitude.
I really
the fact
thought I
that
was
you
gonna
pulled
lose
that out of your ass was
When I pulled this out,
very impressive.
When I pulled this out, I was like, shit.
I could not lie.
You could not
I could
do
not
it.
lie
You
about
couldn't
this
do it.
movie. I could not lie. No, I will never go on record saying this is a great movie that everybody's gonna love and I'm gonna take my kids to it. I'm sorry. I will lose that point before I say that on the record.
And you admitted faults, but this was about
By the
defending
way,
movie.
I never
admitted to me
finished The
false,
Last
Al.
Airbender. It's the only movie I couldn't finish when we were doing Honest Trailer.
This movie sucked.
Wow, yeah, they all suck. But you know what doesn't suck?
garbage heap.
Oh man, this is a
Speed
good
round,
fight.
guys. This is all tied up
shit.
with Andy and Dan going into the speed
Oh
round.
boy.
Oh, boy.
So for those of you who don't know, I know we're running long, so I'll make this quick. You can earn 5 more points to win the game. So I suppose it's first to 3 wins. In this case, it'll be an either/or question. It'll be an open question. You'll have 20 seconds to answer, then a 10-second rebuttal, or 20 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, right?
Sure,
Okay,
20,
great.
sure.
Joe will help me keep time. I will keep score. And the speed round begins now with
boy.
the first question submitted by US Soccer Fan 1. This is a bargain bin question, so keep your eyes up on what?
You have to cue it. Oh, we don't have it?
Yeah, no, this is a bargain bin picture.
Do we have it? Oh, we do.
Do we not have the picture? We don't have,
have
the
the
We
picture.
don't have the picture.
Oh.
I'll just tell you. All right, guys. I'll say it really fast so you
about
guys
to
have
say.
a chance to.
Are we getting it or no?
Are you getting it?
Okay.
Why don't you go to
Spencer
question
just
2?
said-
Why don't you go to question 2?
I'll give him a second.
Maybe we won't need it.
Yeah, maybe we won't need it. Let's skip that
No,
one.
you might win in 3.
Oh,
Who
it's a-
knows?
throw
Not
it out.
saying me.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Number 2. Score is still tied. This is a rematch, but in honor of the 2-year anniversary of his passing. What's the best Robin Williams movie?
Ooh, Good Will Hunting.
Dead Poet Society.
Okay. Dan? Joe, you ready? Dan, begin.
I think Robin Williams is, people think of him as the comedic actor, but it's the actor that I really want to focus on. And when I want to see a great Robin Williams performance and when I want to remember him fondly, it's Good Will Hunting because he shows that charisma, so much of what we love from him in the comedies that he was in, but he also showed that serious side to him. He showed the fact that he was an amazing actor. This was the one that got him his Oscar finally, and I think it's the one to...
All right, Andy.
That was the show you're rolling away, and I think it was earned because they wanted to give him the respect. Dead Poet Society is the one I think that truly defines Robin Williams' best dramatic role. It's a role that people were inspired by, that teacher. They all had that teacher. It's one that they really define him by. I think it's comedic, it's dramatic, it's the most touching. Good Will Hunting felt like he got the Oscar just because he was deserved. It was a fine role, but it's more Ben Affleck, Matt Damon's movie.
I think that Dead Poet Society was a great teacher movie, classroom movie. We've had Stand and Deliver and stuff like that. Good Will Hunting was a very personal movie. It's the one that made me feel most connected to him personally, not so much...
I felt well more to Will Hunting when I'm staying on my desk to the teacher to tell him. I connect that to Robin Williams and his performance in Dead Poet Society.
Woo! I assume that's time, yes. All right, guys, let's go really quick to Hal and Joe to help me out.
Well, I might have said Good Morning Vietnam because I feel like that's where he gets.
That's helping the show's running time, Hal.
All right, be quiet. And, just for that, Dan.
Oh, the spite point for Dan. All right, Joe.
We got a lot of I feel and I felt connected, but Good Will Hunting's the one that gave us the only fact in here is that's what he got the Oscar for. So I got to go with Good Will Hunting.
I was going to go that way too, not for the Oscar point, but it's relevant. Dan, you get the first point.
Thank you.
All right, 3-2. Dan, on to the next one. Andy, no peeking.
25 movies we could have said for that, by the way.
I know. I was like Aladdin.
Aladdin. Yeah.
All right. Question number 3/2. Who gives the better performance? This is an either or. Patrick Stewart's Professor X or Ian McKellen's Magneto?
Magneto.
All right, that gives you Professor X. Dan, you may begin.
Ian McKellen's Magneto is a really complicated character. That's what I love about him as a villain is you can see both sides. The fact that his family went through the Holocaust, that the fact you can see why he's a villain, why he hates humanity so much. Professor X has his morals, but Magneto has the more interesting backstory, and I think that Ian McKellen's performance portrays that history, that pain that is in his past. The fact...
Patrick Stewart has that same pain. It's his friendship with Magneto that I think makes it even stronger. I think Magneto's playing off of him even stronger. Patrick Stewart's a fantastic actor and unifies that whole team together. I think he's so much more connected to Magneto than Magneto is connected to him. You wouldn't have the two without the other. Patrick Stewart, I think, is the leader in that combination because he's so strong in his moral compass and whether Charles will...
Magneto is always the guy that's driving the action. He's the one that's attacking humanity, and it's the motives of Magneto that you need to understand. Patrick Stewart, great actor, but he's reacting to what Ian McKellen's doing in that movie. Ian McKellen is the one that's doing stuff.
Charles's inner turmoil of how to save this villain friend is way more interesting than Magneto always having to go to the villain route, and then he always comes back to Charles because Charles is the more dynamic character and the more better performance.
Okay, wow. Tough stuff all around. Hal, what do you think?
Well, I was kind of split because they're both good arguments, but in Dan's rebuttal, when he mentioned that Magneto really drives the action, and that adds another layer to the performance, I'm going with Dan.
And Joe?
As much as I like my job security, I agree. I've got to go with Dan on that. He has more to do as an actor.
Yeah, maybe not the most fair question, but Dan, you knocked it out of the park.
How was I supposed to beat that? Of course he's better.
I was shocked I got McKellen out before you did.
I realized when you said it, I'm like, well, shit.
Okay, all right. So here, let's keep this moving. Dan, you're leading with 4-2. Andy,
That's a dumb question.
Let's see if you can make this interesting. All right, you guys ready?
Sure.
Okay. Who's the better director? Clint Eastwood or Mel Gibson?
Eastwood.
Mel Gibson.
Okay. Andy, whenever you're ready.
Eastwood's made more work. I think Mel Gibson's only quantified by Braveheart, which I think is a kind of an overrated movie. Eastwood gave us $1 Million Baby, and from his early work to his Unforgiven to his later work with $1 Million Baby and all the stuff he's doing now, so much more film, so much more iconic, and he's not someone that I personally have trouble doing, and I think that does affect the argument a little bit, whether director or not. That's why he's not directing anymore.
Personal feelings aside, Clint Eastwood has directed some great movies, but I find his style to be a little static. I feel like it's very much just like a static camera. Mel Gibson has a very kinetic style. Braveheart, Apocalypto, Passion of the Christ. It is very in your face. It is very visceral. And for me personally, as a director, I think when you can show that kind of variety, when you can get in there and make those different kinds of period movies, when you can manage things.
Visceral American Sniper, which he brought that out of nowhere, which I couldn't believe he actually could have that kind of tension happen now, proves I think Eastwood still can. In the age that he's doing is such a fantastic tube. Apocalypto is a mess.
Good stuff. All right, Hal, help me out.
It's tough, but I gotta go Andy on this one.
Okay, Eastwood over Gibson. Joe?
Yeah, I'm giving it to Andy on this too. He answered the visceral challenge with a couple of examples, and then the body of work. It's an impressive argument.
Thank you guys for making my life so easy. I think I would have gone Dan there, but you guys outweigh me, so Andy gets the point, and we have a surprise because the bargain bin is now ready, and it's a good one.
Oh boy.
Thank you guys for the heads up. So let's throw something up on the screen. These two movies are in the bargain bin. Which do you buy?
Just go with it.
Mordecai.
Can't wait to hear this. Andy, I heard you first.
Just Go With It will actually get some laughs in a bad way because Sandler's premise is ridiculous. I don't think anyone, and I don't believe Dan has seen Mordecai for a reason. That's why you'd never want to buy it. It's Johnny Depp at his worst. Caricature, spin mustache, bling. It's so over it that I'd rather see Adam Sandler and attractive women like Kate Upton and Jennifer Aniston and the silly shenanigans he's gonna have.
Yeah, that's every Adam Sandler movie made for the last 20 years. I don't want to go see another Adam Sandler movie that I've already seen 7 times. Mordecai, Johnny Depp, love him or hate him, you know what? He's always doing something interesting. And when I have to choose something, I'm going to choose something that's interesting to me, that's at least going to amuse me when I watch it. I don't want to see the same rehashed Adam Sandler movie that I saw with The Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates. It's the same movie over and over again.
I actually did see it. It's a hate watch. It's actually funny. Mordecai looks atrocious, and the fact that neither of us saw it is telling to me. The fact that I actually saw Just Go With It. If I had a choice in a plane, I'd pick that one better because I don't want to watch Johnny Depp do that anymore.
First of all, you don't know if I've seen Mordecai or not. You're projecting that on me. Secondly, I will go with the interesting new movie than the 18th iteration of Adam Sandler Wants to Go on Vacation, which is exactly what that movie is.
You could have easily proven you saw it by saying it.
Wow. Dan, you won me over with the 18th Adam Sandler movie Vacation line at the end. I don't think I need to hear from you guys, but I'm going to give that point to Dan. Which makes you the winner, unsurprisingly, of Movie Fights. Way to go, Dan. Now,
You didn't see Mordecai, right?
You'll never know.
After the fights. After the fights.
Yeah. We'll talk about it on
man.
After the Fight.
Dude, guys.
That was too long.
This was fun to get the old gang back together. Sorry for overstaying our welcome if we did, but that was
boy.
fun for me. Was it fun for you?
Yeah. and finally, people can stop saying that Andy sucks my peen and can start saying that you suck my peen in the comments because that's all they say.
He did on that. He did. Hal. He gave Hal that point.
I gave Hal a courtesy peen.
That was the only thing that was bullshit.
I will say, for the record, I was saying it was in the second.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, we're up for an Emmy. That's pretty cool, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Not for this.
Not for this. Not for this. This is not
I
even
think they're going
close.
to take it away now.
I think we might be up for a local Emmy.
It's like Norbit.
Yeah, exactly.
But won the Emmy to my heart. Thanks to our guest today, Andy
I
Signore.
love you guys. That's so fun to get in the ring.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
Oh, man.
And doesn't it
Gets the
suck to
blood
judge?
boiling. Oh, yeah.
Judging fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
But thank you for coming on at Andy Signore
Yes.
on the Twitter. Creative Ron Australia's, as we know. Mr. Hal Rudnick.
Hi, everybody. Hit me up at Hal Rudnick.
Dan, the Champ Murrell, your undefeated
I
streak
feel
is
like
back.
I've exercised a year-old Jurassic World demon here today. So
Yeah,
1 to 1 now, right?
See, there you go. And Joe Starr on the fan cam.
I feel like we got to close this out. Twitter really wants a Mark Wahlberg impression from Dan. I feel like that would make us all heal.
Dan,
Let
take
me
it
tell you why
away.
Age of Extinction is the best movie. It's got me. I'm an inventor. I invent things. I just make a bunch of things. I invent stuff. I was nominated for an Oscar, Joe, as Best Supporting Actor for The Departed. I talked like this in that movie, too.
All right, guys, let's take a trip to Wahlburgers. I'm Spencer J. Gilbert. Thank you for sticking around and being patient with me on my second
job,
hosting
Spencer.
job. Woo, not easy, but we will be back. Andy, I'm sure, will be back in the hosting seat next time on another episode of Movie Fights. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Every podcast we put on YouTube comes with this kick-ass graphic listing all the topics your favorite Screen Junkies podcasters are talking about. If you click the topics, you can skip around and choose your own podcast battle royale. Go ahead, try them all. If you haven't already, subscribe to Screen Junkies on YouTube to join us for future fights. Or if you prefer to listen on iTunes, click the logo to download an audio version.